I'm going to model another alarm lever, and if you want to model along with me, you can grab the reference in the description and we can do this together. Alright, once you've got it in Blender, press G and move your reference image until it's pretty much in the middle of the bottom. Press 3 to look from the side, pull it back a ways. Press 1 to look from the front again. So let's do this metal plate in the back first. Press Shift A, mesh plane, go into edit mode, and scale it down like this. Let's rotate X 90 and let's move the back a bit. GX till it lines up a little bit better. Select your plane, scale it up a little bit more. Okay, let's go back into wireframe now and make sure we're in edit mode and grab this top edge and pull it up to the top. Grab the bottom edge and pull it to the bottom. Okay, cool. Alright, select everything and check it out. Looks good. Press 1 for vertex selection, and let's make these curves. Shift Control B and pull, and then roll your mouse up 1, 2, 3. So it should have a total of 5 points in there. Good. Alright, let's give it some thickness. Press E to extrude and pull back in the Y a little bit like that. X faces, get rid of that. Let's go back into solid mode 3 for face selection and select that top face and Control B to bevel that, pull, and I just want to have a total of 3 segments in there and something like that. Okay, back in object mode, shade smooth. Let's add weighted normal and normal auto smooth. Good. Okay, press Z and go into wireframe. We're going to create holes and then the bolts themselves. Alright, Shift A, mesh cylinder, and I'm going to use 24 vertices so I get a nice sort of smooth hole. Although it's not going to be that visible, you could probably get away with less. Rotate X 90. So 24 might be a little bit of overkill. Alright, just get the hole the size that you like, just like that. Now select the metal plate again if you can. Here we go. And select everything and Shift S, cursor to select it to bring the 3D cursor right to the middle. We'll go back into solid mode, grab that. Okay, this is what I want right there. Now I can mirror this. So add a mirror in the X and in the Z. And if it doesn't seem like it's working, make sure you choose set origin to 3D cursor. Okay, we set the origin of the cylinders to the 3D cursor. Okay, with that done, we're going to select the main body again and Boolean, drag it up to the top, leave it on difference, and with the eyedropper select the cylinders and apply. Now you can select the cylinders and delete them, and you should have 4 holes. Go back into edit mode and 2 for edge selection and Shift Alt and click the edge all the way around. You may have to do a couple of clicks to get the whole thing. Shift Alt and click, not that. Shift Alt and click. There we go. Okay, let's give this some thickness. E and GY. Pull back a little ways, just like that. That's good enough. Now we're going to get the outside edge again, and we're going to bevel that. So Shift Alt and click all of that. Just make sure you don't get anything else. Okay, zoom in on one of those and Control B to bevel, pull, and you just want to have maybe 3 segments. Roll back to 0, 3. That's probably good enough. All right, let's turn on our statistics, and let's also turn on over here the cavity shader for now. Okay, let's make the bolts or the screws. Come on in and Shift Alt and click this edge going all the way around and Shift S, cursor to select it. Bring the 3D cursor right there. To make the bolt, let's use a circle with 16 vertices. Go into edit mode and scale it down, and then RX 90. Make it a little bit smaller and bring it out a bit. Press F to make a face, E to extrude, pull back in the Y a little ways, and X faces. Delete that face. Press 3 and grab that face, and Control B to bevel. Then I'll use the same number of bevels. I can shade smooth if I want. let's look at this now and just maybe adjust the position of that. I wanted S to scale a little bit. Okay, now press 1 for vertex selection, and we are going to join these. So select them and press J to join. That'll actually cut through, creating new polys. So we're going to do this here, down there, and then across, and there, and the bottom ones. There we go. Press 2 for edge selection and select this edge here, and then hold down Control to get the whole thing, and then hold down Shift to get this one, and Control again. So we have those two vertical edges. I'm going to scale them in the SX. Scale them in the X is what I meant to say there. And then we are going to grab these ones. Shift, Control, scale them in the Z. So we now have that. I'm going to press C for paint selector. Circle select. And I'm going to grab that cross. Now press I to inset, pull it in, and E to extrude and pull it back, like that. And there's our little poly bolt. And from a distance it doesn't look too bad. Take the whole thing and pull it in. Actually, let's see, is there anything else we can get rid of? Nah, we'll leave it like that. I'm going to pull it into about there. I want to mirror those around, so I'm going to select all of this and Shift S, cursor to selected. That brings my 3D cursor right to the middle, so I can grab that and I can mirror this. And again, make sure you set the origin to 3D cursor. Do that in the Z. All right, I'm going to apply that mirror and then come back in, select a little piece, and Control L to select what's linked, and RY, and just rotate it off a little bit. Select a little bit of this one, Control L, RY, and just make them look a little bit different. RY. And if it's not quite in the right position, just drag it and move it a little bit, like this, just pressing G. And just, it's okay if they're off a little bit. Probably looks even better. Alright, so we've done that part. It's time to move on now to do the handle. Look from the front, and let's go into wireframe. And we're going to build this. And I'm going to use a circle, and I'm going to use, well, I think I'm going to use 24. So it'll be slightly higher poly than I might have wanted. Rotate X90, but it'll be a bit smoother. But you could probably get away with 18. And I may have done that originally. Yeah, it looks like 24 on me. All right, just match that circle. All right, and then I'm in wireframe, so I'm going to press E and S. E and S, and come into about there. And then I'm going to pull this forward like this. I'm going to select the whole thing and move it out away from the face there. Now, let's look back from the front. Make sure we've got just that part there. E and S, and come in straight like that. If you're a little off the diagram, that doesn't matter. Press E and come in and just do something like that in the Y. I'm going to go back into solid view, and this is what we have. Shift Alt and click here. And if you look at this one here, you can see that it comes straight down. There's a little indent and then straight back. So I'm going to do that. So just pull in a little ways straight like that, and then extrude the rest of the way back to here. Now I might take the whole thing out a bit and pull this back just a little bit so it pretty much makes contact. So something like that. I mean, it's trial and error to get it exactly the way you want it. Okay, now we're going to bevel a little bit. Shift Alt and click here and here. Control B and pull. And I'm just having the two edges and then adding one by rolling my mouse up. So I'm going to have that and probably add some edges here. So let's shade smooth and look at this, and we can accentuate this. I'll just bring another edge here and another edge here, and then Shift Alt and click this edge and Control B to bevel, pull, roll back to 0. So you just have the two edges with the space. E and Alt S, and let's see, what are we doing? We're pushing to make it go in. All right. Then I'm going to grab this edge and this edge, the ones on the edges there on the sides, and Control B with the same number of segments. I got the 2, roll my mouse up for 1 more. And I now have that. Okay. Let's go into this object here, deselect, and then Shift Alt and click one of these circles going all the way around, and Shift D to duplicate it, S to scale, pull it in, and then press P to break it out. So we have just this. Let's look in and go into wireframe, and there's a circle in here like a washer. So let's go into edit mode for that and select it, and S to scale, and just roughly match. I'm a little bit off the diagram, so I'm just getting the approximate size. That's good. So let's press F to make a face, E to extrude, pull back in the Y, and delete that bottom. So we have this. Select the top face and Control B, and I just want the same number of segments, 3. Let's shade smooth. Now that's going to get pushed down to the surface, so I'm going to hide this for now. Take this and bring it right in. Like that. I'm not worrying about any shading errors right now because I'm going to be joining all this and putting on those modifiers for everything. Let's go back into wireframe now, and you can see that there is a cube of sorts here. It actually sticks up a little ways. So let's go in and Shift S, cursor selected, bring the 3D cursor there, and then Shift A, mesh cube. Yep, using a cube. Can you believe it? Scale it down until you get the approximate size. Okay, I'm going to scale a little bit more. I'm going to delete this back face. I'm going to push it up a little bit. Delete that back face and then grab this front face here. And I'm going to pull it up a ways. But I'm going to bring back my main thing. And I want that to stick up a good amount so I can see it. Okay, that's good enough. Let's focus on that with the slash key and come in, select it all. And in number 2, edge selection here. Let's bevel that without the back face. Control B. And pull. Now something went wrong here, so let's select that again. Let's make sure we haven't got any funny stuff going on. Now let's Control B. There we go, just like that. Slash key to bring stuff back. Make sure that's making contact. Looks good. Very good and easy to do. So we've got this part here. All right, maybe this is sticking out a little much. I don't know. You can look from the side if you want in wireframe and in edit mode, and you can box select here if you want. You can pull it in. That's fine with me. Okay, we're going to create the handle now, and we're going to wireframe and Shift A, mesh plane, scale it down, rotate X 90, and just take it so that this vertex is sort of along here. Let's rotate Y 45, scale it again till I get the approximate width that I want. I can take these 2 points and I'm going to pull them in, but I'm going to switch to normal, and then I'm going to pull them in, and they're sort of going to be hidden inside here. Grab these 2 points and let's just pull it and see how well it follows. It follows pretty good. All right, let's press S to scale, match this, and bring it into the sphere here. Okay, what happened there? Let's do that again. All right, these 2. All right, S to scale. Don't cross them. There we go, something like that. Okay, good. All right, select the whole thing, and let's give it some thickness in the Z, if we're still in normal. So just pull it, give it a little bit of thickness, and then take it and sort of center it in this area. It's just not enough so it clears the plate, so when you pull this, you have room. Select that face and delete it, and go into wireframe and select that face and delete that as well. Okay, now let's just work on this thing. Press 2 for edge selection and Shift Alt and click there, or just hold Shift. You probably didn't need the Alt. And let's bevel that. Control B, pull, same number of segments, make it a bit wider, and we'll have that. You can shade smooth if you want. All right, let's come up to the top and Shift Alt and click there. Shift S, cursor selected. Bring the 3D cursor right there, and I'm going to come back to global. Look from the front, and I'm going to bring in a UV sphere, and I'm going to use 16 and 8. You might even be able to get away with less. Scale that, just G to drag it. Scale that. And then let's rotate it so that the bottom sort of looks like it points down that way. Shade smooth. And yeah, okay. And then in edge selection, I'm going to Shift Alt and click that edge. And we'll Control B and pull, roll back to 0, so I just have the 2. And then E and Alt S and pull to pull it in and drag an edge loop up here. All right. You can select everything and Alt N recalculate outside just to make sure. Now let's hide the empty. And let's select everything. And let's, first of all, let's look at that. You see, some of it's facing the wrong way. So I selected everything, go into edit mode, or select a piece, and then A to select it all. Alt N recalculate outside. So all my polys are facing the right way. I'm come over here and turn on the shadow. And we'll get a matte cap going. I like this one. And I'm also going to switch over to both, pull these up, and just looks a little nicer. Shut those off for a moment. So this is basically the lever right there. There's room for text on here if you want. If you decided you didn't want to do text, you could do another piece of modeling here, or you could grab this and pull it up so it's more about just a rectangle like that, but I will put some text on there. Let's come back here, however, and look at the statistics. 3,335 tries, so that's not too bad. Let's select everything and Control J to join it, and we already have those modifiers on there, and that is our model right there. Now you could certainly put materials on this in Blender, but I am going to do it in Substance Painter, and because I'm not doing anything earth-shattering, I'm just going to show you the final result. So there is the modeling, and I'll show you how I textured this in Substance Painter, and if you're interested, you can always ask me questions. Otherwise, that is the alarm lever. I hope you followed that okay and enjoyed it, and here's my textured lever.